Have you wondered, how can I set effective money goals? Inside this episode, we're talking about why New Year's resolutions typically don't work, what you need to know because of that, and 4 key power ups that you need to set effective money goals. So let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of the Your Money, Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Aimee Cerka. We are recording this again. If we're connected on Instagram, you might have saw that I had mic issues. So I am re-recording this because it sounded awful. The audio turned out wrong and I did not want to put that in your ears. All right. So take two. Even though nobody heard take one, right? Let's talk about money goals. And this is something that we were a little passionate about, especially with, if you've heard my story, and we talk about finding success and where you're at. And really just listen to last week's episode because it was a very passionate, like fire, truth, whatever you want to call it. Like that was the thing, right? So listen to that episode, and then you're probably going to be understanding of why this is so important. But why do New Year's resolutions not work? Okay. Because often when we set a New Year's resolution, we do this like all in thing. We want to change a lot of things at once. And that's not how long-term change happens. We have to do incremental steps one at a time, okay? And we have to build these habits. We don't want to create what we call cognitive dissonance. If where you are at and where you want to be is too big of a gap, we create the cognitive dissonance. Your subconscious mind self-sabotages you, and you are not successful long-term, okay? That just like, I feel like we need to let that sit for a minute. So, what are 4 things that we need to be aware of when we are goal setting? Okay. The fourth power up strategy that I want you to know is we need to create momentum with our goals. There's nothing wrong with setting incremental goals. We, again, don't want to promise the world and not achieve it. So pick a small step, one incremental step. What's the next step for you on the path, right? So if you want to hit that elusive 6 figures, which is why I've shied away from talking about this, is we have to do this one step at a time, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Just make it one small step at a time. The second thing we need to do is make sure that you're keeping integrity with yourself. When if you set a goal and you know you're not going to do it and you break that integrity with yourself, again, that is so damaging. So to set effective money goals, keep the integrity with yourself. And a great way to actually do that is to not put a deadline on it. So this is the goal that you want to achieve, okay? Let's say it's the 6 figures. You want to hit 6 figures in your business. This specific income stream is what we're talking about, okay? You're scaling this income stream to 6 figures. You have to, you don't have to put a deadline on it. Like, this is the goal that I'm working towards, and you're just doing the actions that you need to move forward, okay? The third mindset power up that we have today is we need to work on our routines. Again, we don't want to change everything. So add one thing at a time, and then we do something that's called habit stacking, okay? So you have one thing that you're focusing on, and then you can add it to what you're already doing. And routines are so powerful because it eliminates the feeling of behind in your schedule. And that's a whole story for another day. Like, don't set yourself up. That's like setting yourself up for success. If you don't have to meet that certain time deadline, don't force yourself to do it. Just create the routine. These things need to be done in this order. You start it when you start it. You're done when you're done. And there's not this like, I'm behind. That is not an energy you want to carry with you. Okay. The fourth strategy to power up your effective goal settings is stop the struggle, okay? Stop feeling like everything has to be a struggle. Focus on what you can control You can also stop the struggle by stop doing the fluff. Like, we need to focus on the things that actually move us forward, which you don't know unless you look at your numbers regularly. Okay. Stop the struggle. You have to move forward with success, with confidence. This is how you create mastery. This is how you correct the effect, like money goal mastery. There are things in place. You have to believe that it is possible, which goes back to the integrity with yourself and why that's so important, and creating the momentum with your goals. Do you see how they all play in together? All right. That's what I've got for today. I think the first version of this was probably longer, so maybe I got more succinct when I re-recorded it, but here we go. We talked about 4 key strategies to power up your money goal setting, okay? We talked about creating momentum with your goals. We talked about keeping integrity with yourself. We talked about routines and how we don't need to change everything. And we talked about stopping the struggle and believing that you can make money with ease. It doesn't have to be hard. Your challenge for today, I want to hear from you. What was your favorite strategy? And what are you going to implement? Send me a message on Instagram at Aimee Cerka or shoot me a text 817-969-4653. That is it for now. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the Your Money, Your Life podcast. Wondering what's next? When you're ready, there are different levels of support that you can use on the path to creating unstoppable finances and your unstoppable life. After all, your finances are unique and your support should be too. Ultimately, we'll create a customized plan to ditch financial struggle for good that works for you, your goals, your priorities, your life. Go to workwithaimee.com to get started with one of our most popular programs, or you can book a Q&A call with me and we'll figure out what your next step should be.